What's up, champ? I'm Vince Delmonte of vincedelmontefitness.com, and I want to talk about how to build muscle size. And I want to revisit the really popular concept that I don't think anyone disagrees with, and it's the concept of progressive overload. It's the cornerstone principle of getting bigger and seeing progress over time. And progressive overload, as you probably already know, means doing more over time. Okay, so we're getting fitter. We're outdoing last week's performance. We're applying some form of stress to our body that we've never experienced before. And what I want to do is just kind of open up your mind, and I want to expand you beyond just what most people kind of resort to when it comes to this principle. And what do you guys think it is? It's like the tool in the toolbox everybody just grabs because it's like, oh yeah, this is a cool tool, you know, it's just like a sledgehammer, yeah. And that's heavy weights, right? So I'm not even going to talk about going heavier. I'm going to give you some new stuff you can do. I'm going to teach you how to get progressive overload without adding more weight. Isn't that cool? Isn't that a safer way of doing things? Absolutely. Because this channel is about longevity and getting you through the next 20, 30 years in the gym, building muscle without hurting yourself. So here's point number one. Increasing the range of motion that you can control. So if you're doing a squat and you're finding you can only move, say, through 3/4 of the range, then by doing the same load but with a greater range of motion, you're going to activate more muscle. And that would be a form of progressive overload. So increasing the range of motion that you can control and that you can contract. All right? And that's a really simple thing to do to make the workout harder and to take your body to another level. Number two is to use the same weight and the same volume, but with better quality contractions. So you're going to contract the muscle harder. You're going to create force internally with a harder squeeze. And the harder you squeeze the muscle, the more of that weight that's in your hand you actually feel, because you're going to be directing that load into the thing you want to build. So a lot of people take the weight and they disperse the tension, usually unintentionally, just to get the thing up. But by directing the tension, so improving your mind-muscle connection, contracting harder, that 10-pound weight could actually feel like 30 pounds. All right? Your body doesn't look at the load and say, oh, good job, you're at 30s today. Last week you did 25s. It actually can regress. Because if you go heavier and more of that weight just gets dispersed, you can actually get less of that total load into the muscle. So better quality contractions is another form of progressive overload. The next one's simple, lifting the same load for more reps. It's very self-explanatory. Obviously, this one comes with a simple caveat. You're using the same form, so you're not shortening the range of motion. Range of motion is the same, load is the same, but you do more reps. Now, with all that said, we can add more weight to the bar. I'm not saying don't increase the load. I've got nothing against increasing the load. We just want to always ask yourself, though, is increasing the load what we actually need? Because sometimes when we add load, it just gets dispersed to other muscles and we lose what we're actually trying to stimulate. So it actually becomes a negative tool. That's why I just show you guys my dumbbell rack here. I actually bought these off of Charles Polk a couple years ago when I was at one of his education seminars, and I heard him say, I'm selling them, and I said, how much? This is like a $17,000 rack, but I got them for almost half that. It's been one of the best investments I've ever made because they come with these micro plates. So if you come on over here, take a quick look. I've got my base weights here, so 15, 30, 45, 60, this is 75, and then that's a 90. And then you can see how the increments work. So 15 to 17.5 to 20, 22.5 to 25 to 27.5. So I can apply the concept of micro progressions. Now, you don't need this big fancy rack in the gym. One of the reasons I wanted to film this video was because sometimes going, say, from 25 to 30 for like an arm curl is too much of a jump. So the things I just gave you are better ways to apply progressive overload. All right, so in this case here, I could add as little as 2.5 pounds to go up in smaller increments. So I can coax the muscle into muscle growth, if that makes sense. All right, so good little investment. A lot of people ask me, I want to equip my gym with some equipment. What would you invest in? I mean, again, if you can afford something like this, it's something you're going to have the rest of your life, right? So you got to look at it in context too. I don't have to buy another dumbbell set ever. So it was a big investment, but it's an investment that's here to stay. These micro plates are really great, especially as you can see, they don't take up much space in the gym. So I just thought I'd tell you a bit about that if you're new to the channel and you haven't had an introduction to my dumbbell stack here. Now you have. And it's just one of the cool pieces that we have here in Gym Del Monte. So just another little thing I'll just show you is these handles are fat grips. So they're going to challenge more surface area, and they spin. So they're not like those little tiny ones that are made for, like, you know, small female hands. They're actually, it's going to challenge your hand grip, and you've got to use more musculature to control them. So you get another benefit from just the grip that's involved with these dumbbells. So another form is extending the set beyond failure. So if your program takes you to, say, 8 reps, where you're like at a 10 out of 10 perceived effort, you can introduce techniques such as rest pause, or drop sets, or isometric holds, or what's another one? I mean, there's so many different intensity techniques. Force reps is another good one. Negatives, somebody helps you get it up and then you do the negative. Those are, I think, 5 or 6 different ways to extend the set beyond failure. Again, that's another form of progressive overload. Another form is to use the same load, the same volume, but you do the workout in less time. So you take shorter rest periods. So you take your current workout, and if your entire workout says 60 seconds recovery, and if you're able to do the exact same workout, say with 45 seconds recovery between all your sets, you've experienced what's called increased density. You've done more in less time. That's another really challenging way of progressive overload. The 6th thing you can do is to increase the training frequency. So you take the same load, the same volume, and you do it again later on in the week. All right, obviously you're not going to be able to replicate it right away, but by building up to what you're doing once a week to twice a week is an example of progressive overload. Really powerful way to transform your body. The last thing is to maintain what your workout is while losing body fat or body mass total. All right, so if you're losing body mass and you're maintaining everything you're doing in the gym, that's a sign that you've increased your relative strength. All right, that's pretty cool. And that means your nutrition is really good, your recovery is really good. So pat yourself on the back, okay? So if you're leaning out while maintaining the same effort in the gym, that's awesome, okay? So there you go, 7 different forms of progressive overload. Now, you might be asking, Vince, where can I find these applied to a program that helps me build muscle, lose fat, get stronger? And if you're interested in that, I created the first step before I can hook you up with that, and that's to figure out your muscle fiber type. I no longer make like one-size-fits-all programs for everybody because we're all built differently. I've learned that when you train for your fiber type, you get better results. All right, so click that link above me. It'll take you to a quiz. You can first figure that out, and then I'll teach you on the next page why that's so important. If you're on your phone, click the first link in the description. And then you'll learn about my newest program, which will teach you, it'll give you an 18-week program, and you'll see how I progress these principles from week to week in a structured and easy to follow fashion. This might sound complicated, but really it's not. It's all laid out. You'll know exactly what to do. So click that link, find out what your fiber type is, and then the next step will be to get that program so that you can then start working with your muscle fiber type without any guesswork. Sound good? All right. I'll see you on the other side. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, drop me a comment for future video topics, and I will see you again soon. Peace out.